Today, we're going to do a camera comparison between the Galaxy S23 Ultra versus the Pixel 7 Pro. Right now, it seems like the front-facing camera, the HDR seems to be a lot better on the Pixel, but knowing the Pixel, the video is probably not going to be the cleanest. And now I'm outside and this is how it sounds like. I do have speech enhancement on for the Pixel 7 Pro, and I think that should be always on just because it sounds so much better. Okay, moving on to the back cameras, from all the lenses, I realized for the color, it leans towards the cooler side and warmer side on both phones. They're kind of the opposite, where the Galaxy, whenever it's cool, the Pixel seems to be warmer, and the opposite. So I feel like those goes back and forth in terms of the color. And saturation wise, the Galaxy does have more of a pop out look. The red seems to be much more warmer or pops out, but it's not all the time though. Sometimes the Pixel does end up being more saturated than the Galaxy. For video, the ultra wide doesn't do the best in low light. I would avoid it as much as possible. Obviously stick with the main camera lens, that will give you the best quality. And knowing that Pixel is not much of a video camera phone, it still does pretty decent. It's not going to be as clean as the Ultra, and I realized that for some reason the Ultra got out of focus for some reason, but it did quickly go back into focus. But if you're into like the city where there's so many lights, you're not going to have any problems with both because it both seems to be pretty spot on. But if you really need something for video and more strictly for video, then a Galaxy would be the better choice. Now, there are some little things that Galaxy do better is when you're capturing neon lights, it's more exposed and you can see the lettering, whereas on the Pixel, it's a bit exposed and you can't really make it out. But for the Pixel side of things, I do realize that the shadows seems to be more realistic. It's more on the grayish side, just like you would see in real life. But on a Galaxy, it's leaning towards the bluer, cooler side, which doesn't look that great or realistic. For shooting video in daylight, it does seem like the Pixel is favoring on the warmer side versus the cooler, whereas the Galaxy, you can tell that it's much more blue, and the shadows do seem a little bit darker. Now, when you're indoors shooting food, the Galaxy wins by a mile. It's just the color, the way how it pops, just makes the food stands out and looks good. Whereas on a Pixel, it's kind of dark, dull, it doesn't look that delicious. So shooting with the main camera, it's a lot much better than the Pixel. And on the Instagram section, you'll see a bit more. Now moving on to telephoto, obviously the Galaxy wins with the 100x, but at 30x where the Pixel 7 Pro maxes out, the Galaxy does seem to be sharper. Some people might not like that over-processed look where it could be too cartoony for them. The Pixel is obviously not as clean or as sharp, but some people might like that more realistic look. It's all personal preference because sometimes when you over-sharpen a picture, the background noise and artifacts do show up more and it's more visible and distracting for the picture. This is my second time using the Instagram camera app on a Galaxy, and as you can see, the first few seconds is pretty pixelated. The first time I used it when I was comparing it with the iPhone 14 Pro, I didn't see it as much, but for some reason this time around I can see a lot more. So it doesn't seem like it has been improved by a lot, but there are times where it doesn't show up. Most of the time it does show up, so I guess it depends on how Instagram process saving the video file on the Instagram camera app. But that is one thing to know if you do like using the IG camera app. When shooting video, I do like zooming in with my thumb. Pixel 7 Pro is much more quicker, it's harder to control, and when you're zooming in quick, you can see it stutter a bit while it's changing lenses. And when you're taking pictures, they're both great. I do like the colors on a Galaxy, which makes the food pop a bit more. Since you're sharing it straight to your Instagram stories, it does look better. But it depends. If you do want the more, I guess, natural look, then the Pixel will do fine. But then again, the Galaxy just looks so much better sharing it straight through social. For selfies, I do like using the wider look, and it seems like the Pixel does have the wider field of view. So if you're taking a picture with your friends or selfies with your friends, definitely the Pixel will do the better job. Moving on to portrait mode, they both can do 1x, the Galaxy can go up to 3x. The Pixel, you can zoom up to 2x, but it doesn't look that good. The 2x does look more digitized, even though it does have a telephoto lens. I'm not sure why they're not taking advantage of it. But I do like the look of the 1x on the Pixel. It's like a 1.5 So it's great when you're outdoors or indoors, whereas on the Galaxy, the 1x seems to be very wide and it may not look that great when you're far away from the lens. I've been telling you guys I'm using the timer to take these photos, and for some reason it's only the Galaxy phones that gives me a focusing issue. If I have someone behind the phone, sure, it's great because they can actually tap on my face and make sure it's focused, and all the other phones I've used, even mid-tier ones, works great with the focusing in portrait mode. So if you're gonna use portrait mode with a timer, especially with the 3x, just expect to take a lot more pictures. Let me know what you guys think about these two phones and which one you prefer. I did compare the Galaxy S23 Ultra with the iPhone 14 Pro and the Vivo X90 Pro Plus, so go ahead and check those out too. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.